Too old to stand in line at a club, but too young to retire to the bingo hall? The Vegas 30 podcast is here for you. Here's your hosts, Scott Stratten and Allison Kramer.
It's a gamble when you play your heart, but I'm a betting man.
Scott Stratten.
Turns out I don't need glasses.
Give me my glasses back.
Welcome back to the Vegas
Yay! Vegas 30.
30. It's been a while, and at least all 4 listeners have said so.
Yes.
And they've brought it up that we have not created any new ones. And we need you all to understand something about Vegas 30 especially. We're not going to record episodes for the sake of recording episodes. We don't want to create it because we think it's a weekly podcast. It just was coming out every week for the 11 weeks or 12 weeks, how long we did it for. And we just want to value your time. So when we have content that's worthy, we think of you hearing, because we want to pass along what we've learned and experienced for you. We're going to put that. So we got the base down. We've got all the stuff down that we want to do, playing poker in Vegas and what we would do, what we didn't like, off strip, on strip, all these type of things. But we're not recording anything we don't think is of high value.
Yeah, we just didn't feel like it.
We didn't feel like it. That's
Yeah,
exactly the real
we didn't feel
case.
like
No,
it.
We forgot.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know if we forgot. We just did not feel like it.
But that's it.
Yeah.
If you're not into it, you're not going to do it. So we have a new one for you because
we
we just
feel like
came
it
back.
today.
We just came back from Vegas. So one of the things we'd like to be doing, in the future as well, is doing these trip reports, things we've discovered, figured out, and found in Vegas. Because that's why we go to Vegas is for you, the listener and the viewer. And if you're listening right now and you're not watching, you can also watch us. Go to thevegas30.com or go to YouTube and search Cat playing piano. Once you're done with that, then search the Vegas 30, and you'll see all the episodes, old channel there, and you can check it out as well. And bringing the news for the Vegas older crowd to you, which is always too old to stand in line and too young to go to bingo. So we try to keep it up for as much as we can, and we just got back,
We did.
which was awesome. We were both speaking at this new media expo at the Rio, and we'll talk about some about the Rio today as well. We went to CES. We'll talk a bit about that, which has been a bucket list thing for myself, especially over 20 years now, wanting to go to CES, Consumer Electronics show. We're going to start off with a couple more off-strip places we found, and we found that, and we said this on previous episodes, we've turned into rental car people at Vegas, where we were adamant taxi, monorail, don't get a car people in Vegas, because why would you? It's silly, to getting it every time. Right, we get it every time, and it's at the airport is plus and minus. You got to take a shuttle to the car rental. Not long, but you take a shuttle to car rental.
Yeah, we try usually to get them from the hotel, just because it's actually faster to take a taxi from the airport to your hotel and then get your rental car at your hotel. And then when you leave, you just leave it at the hotel. Then it is sometimes to deal with the shuttle. But this time we did do the shuttle because
we've had quite a few
depends on the hotel.
car rental customer service issues, and usually they've been hotel based. So it's not always the best pick of the barrel when it comes to employees for that.
So we got it from the airport this
But
time.
we like it because we go where we want. Like this trip, so we were both speaking and attending this conference for a few days. But we wanted the ability to kind of go where we wanted to. Yes, we could use taxis, but we were at the Rio, so we knew we'd be going, obviously not walking anywhere necessarily. So like we went to Caesars for breakfast. We could just drive right over the highway, went to breakfast, came back. We know where the parking lots are and where they go into the casino. It's just nice and easy. So we went to a couple places though, and the combination of a rental car and Yelp,
awesome.
I think changes to me, in
awesome.
Vegas, especially when it comes to eating. We both love experiencing, different places to eat. We're trying to go to new places again because the podcast is for you, our listeners and our viewers. And so we try these new places because we want to be able to kind of relay our what we think. And we had 2 phenomenal places we found, neither of which are dinner type of places or anything else, but different ways. So there's Ronald's Donuts and Eggs and I. The reason we found both of these again was through Yelp. And when you do Yelp, the problem is you're very set. You're not going to take a cab a lot of time to these places and then wait for a cab to come there and get you back. But having the car allows us to go. So first, we were doing a talk together. You and I did our first kind of talk in front of an audience together.
Yeah, which
about
was very fun.
About podcasting and being, especially our sister podcast, the Unpodcast. And so we talked to an audience. It was phenomenal. Loved it. Standing room only. Went great. We're very happy with it. It was
early in the morning, and so we decided a little bribery never hurts. We've learned this through parenting, that it can't hurt. And so we decided we wanted to have donuts, and so we kind of, at first we just assumed we'd go down the usual route and find like Krispy Kreme or Dunkin' Donuts. And so we get in the car, and start looking at on Yelp at different places, and Scott's looking through the reviews of he searched donuts in proximity, so based on where we were, and he gets to one, and I can see him. The change of the search eyes, I guess, changes a little bit, and you were all excited because there was some place that I was at 360
reviews of this donut place. And everybody else had 20, 15.
And a place we'd never heard of before.
4.5 stars out of 5. It was called Ronald's Donuts.
So we have to go.
And every comment and review is like, every time I go to Vegas, I have to do 2 things, like Bellagio Fountain and this donut place. I'm like, what?
That we've never heard of before.
So we just take directions to here. Off we go. GPS kicks in on the maps. We drive 5 minutes.
Yeah, very close.
Down the street into Chinatown, which I didn't know was in Vegas.
Neither did I. So that was cool too.
Just west of the Rio. And we go drive in there. We pull in. You pull in front of this place. And if you were told to go here and you walk past, you wouldn't go in.
Yeah, no, it was
not
definitely
inviting.
No. I mean, it's the storefront wise. It's not catching your eye driving by.
No, it's like a strip mall, and it's just not
fortune teller next door.
Yeah, it's
massage.
It's just it's not a place where you be hunting for donuts, right?
No.
Right. So we went in, and it's just old, and just cash only, old kind of. But then you walk in, you just take a whiff.
It was the smell, yeah.
Woo!
And they were really friendly.
They're really nice.
Yeah.
Just like a bucket of ass taffy amount of donuts in there. Like, it was incredibly the amount of donuts was amazing. We walked in, we wanted 60 donuts.
And we actually thought we were gonna have to call ahead to places.
Call ahead.
Sure.
Look our big deal. We want 60, and we need to
She
call.
She didn't even flinch. That was it.
Like,
60, no problem.
We want 5 dozen. She's like, yep.
Okay.
And apparently they have these apple roll turnover things that are
them.
famous. We saw them, and it was so awesome looking. It stood out to us in this 100 different donuts, and it turns out those are the most popular things, and they're gone by noon usually.
So we're coming back, Ronald's
we have to
Donuts.
go back. We get 60. We grab it. I got a sample one. And it's
sure.
we had to make sure the donuts were good for our audience, and phenomenal. And apparently they make vegan donuts, and certain with gluten-free donuts, and or donuts with gluten, what you want,
or extra gluten,
or extra gluten. Right? But they were just really good. $36.
Yeah, very affordable.
60 donuts
and delicious.
Done almost like they just fell out of the oven type of thing. We went early in the morning, we went at 9:00, but still, it was like it was open at 6. So good, really happy.
Yeah.
Just got cash, gave it to them.
Crowd loved them. They all got
gone.
eaten. Yeah.
60 gone
very quickly,
easily, and you're supporting a local business.
So you got to go try them out.
But there's your testament for using something like Yelp. Never ever would have found it if somebody just told us about it. We still wouldn't have gone.
Yeah,
it was just like this community. It's amazing. I always find we trust strangers more than we trust the brand. Just seeing 380
really
reviews
example of that, actually.
is like, I know none of the people that left these reviews. Yeah. And then afterwards we told our friend Manya, we heard
She's
about
like,
it
of course, Ronald's Donuts.
She's like, yeah, Ronald's. Like, oh yeah, okay, yeah. We knew that too. We had no idea. I'd love to go back there. Go back there anytime and grab donuts again. It was just a great place to go. Really, so there's a tip for you, especially if you're a big morning coffee donut person. Haven't tried the coffee, can't give any review either way. Donuts phenomenal. I would drive the car there again.
Absolutely.
Easily. But here's the thing: we land in the airport, and we get the car, and where do we go? We go to In-N-Out Burger. Right away.
I was going to say that when you're talking about us trying new things, one of the cool things about trying new things, and that we've tried over I would say over the last 5 to 10 trips, let's say, especially since starting the podcast, we've been really focused on trying new things. But one of the things I've learned is that your favorites, because the favorites are the places we always make time to be able to go back. So there's been a few restaurants that have where we always go now, even though let's say we'll try out 4 or 5 different places, there'll be one where we're going back. We have to go.
And that tells you the favorite places where not only we've gone back many times.
Exactly, right?
So In-N-Out Burger, obviously, burgers
right off the airport.
You're an East Coaster when you get to the West Coast and you have to hit In-N-Out Burger.
Exactly.
This is the way it is. But now, mind you, it's going to get trumped.
It is.
Shake Shack's coming to New York. So
yeah, we're big Shake Shack fans.
New York is changing their entire front area.
Yeah, we're going.
Bringing Shake Shack in there. So that I promise you that'll change.
That's when
I
want to stay there. So we haven't stayed at New York. So I'm waiting. For Shake Shack, and they're going to get their first ROI stay.
Yeah, a lot of changes. So out of all the billions and billions of dollar changes coming into Vegas next while, that's the one we're looking forward to.
That's what I'm most excited about, Shake Shack.
So we go there.
Yeah.
We go to the buffet Bacchanal at
That's
Caesars,
right.
which we did on this trip as well. Literally drove there to get and the salon as well. But we went to Allison got her hair did, but we had buffet first.
Yeah.
I went to the sports book, favorite sports book we've got in
Yeah.
Vegas. So it's like, and we were there only for a couple hours. We love it. And we said this before, right? Every time we go and stay somewhere else, we regret not staying at Caesars.
Yeah, we've been the last three
Past
trips.
3
We've
trips.
stayed
Hard
other
Rock,
places.
MGM, Rio.
Every single one, we've been at Caesars at least twice.
Yeah, we've gone back to
Yeah.
Caesars for whatever reasons.
And Nobu, of course, which is the other place we went back to
we went
again.
back to Caesars again just to go to Nobu.
Yeah.
Oh, and what I like about it, what I like about it is too, with Nobu, you have the ability to like Shibuya and MGM, you have the ability to go walk and sit down and eat right in front of the chefs with no reservation.
So I think it's cool. The more we try new things, these certain places are becoming like the comfort spots we keep going back to because they're our favorite.
So we'll try. So every trip we'll try something new, but also have a couple comforts. So we have that. We'll have Monamica B many a times, and we'll have Lavo, and we had a private dinner there this time with 14 of us. Thank you to Mike Snedegar, our man at Lavo, and Tao, who hooks us up in the back room. And they, being a quote influencer, and I use those quotes very loosely and air-like around influencer, that we get stuff sometimes given to us, and so Lavo gave us dinner. We paid for drinks and tip and everything else, and they hooked us up for the event, and nothing beats, and nothing. And huge Vegas fans here. We love everything. We love shows and excitement and gambling. Nothing beats being at an event with friends and then being able to have dinner with them. 10, 12 friends, even smaller is fine too, but that was such a great night. 3-4 hours
It was
sitting back there, no pressure from the place. Food was freaking out of this world. We tried some new stuff at Lava we haven't tried before.
Yeah, eggplant parmesan. Just
right.
have it.
And you understand, for her to trump what we already have had there.
Oh my goodness.
That was
fantastic.
ridiculous. So
tuna tartare was amazing.
Tuna tartare was amazing. We had again the famous meatballs, and we just killed those. Chicken parmesan was phenomenal that I had. Again, deep fried Oreos for dessert. They had some kind of chocolate roll.
Oh my
cake.
goodness, that was fantastic.
I don't even know what to do with that. It was so good. And then we go to in the Nobu, our friend Todd Webster, a friend of the podcast, and a personal crush of mine, who thebrandSavant.com, great website, great blog, great guy. He texted us with him and his lovely wife Tamsin, who went there the night before to Nobu, and said we had some cod, a black cod, a miso,
black miso cod.
Black miso cod. He's like, it literally, I can't move and I can't breathe. So we get strangers to tell us about the donut place. When Tom says we have to go, we literally say, let's go now after CES. Let's go.
To try something new at Nobu. So it's still going back to one of our favorite places, but we tried something
black
new.
miso cod.
And Scott loved it too.
I ate it with no soy sauce or coverings whatsoever. You need to understand something, my fine listeners of the Vegas 30, and hear this clearly. I do not eat almost anything good for me.
It's not.
Can't stand vegetables or fish or anything else. Fish sushi is simply a transferring of soy sauce for me. It's a vehicle to transfer soy sauce. That's why I eat it, right? Fish and chips, the fish is simply a transferring of batter and tartar for me, with fish gets in the way. I ate black miso cod untouched.
And enjoyed it very much.
No. You must have misread me. I freaking loved it. Brought to you by RoboCop. I don't even know what to say right now. Like, I do not eat broiled fish. I don't eat fish on its own. He
does now.
It doesn't make any
He's
sense
gonna
to
have
me.
to stop saying that.
I'll eat it every time. It was freaking phenomenal. You need to go to Nobu and get the black miso cod. Yeah. And thank you, Tom Webster, for that, because we owe you one for that. And for some compromising photos you have. So, whatever you want, buddy, we'll give it to you. So, but there's new things in quote old places. They're obviously not old, but we've gone there, and we're creatures of habit. Like, I like to go somewhere, I'm going to get the same dish each time. We'll go to Rouse and I'll get the spaghetti and meatballs every time, and I can't switch because I'm scared. Yeah, I'm scared to switch because if I get something else and it's okay, I missed out on the spaghetti and meatballs. Yeah, right. So with Nobu, like, I love the tuna sashimi. Yeah. We get a whole bunch of those pieces, and we get like the fatty tuna in the middle one, and we get them all laid out, and I just eat it and transfer soy sauce in my mouth. That's what it happens. But to try it was just something good. So we also tried a couple other places. We did, one of which actually I gasped, I believe, when we went into the restaurant because we were staying at the Rio. We decided to go to Voodoo. Yeah, so we decided to go to Voodoo. So I had never been up to Voodoo. 52nd floor. Yeah, I'd never been there. And so Scott told me there's a restaurant. You'd been upstairs, but had you eaten there before? Nope. So we went up to the restaurant, and I've seen, we've been to the top of Foundation Room and to Stratosphere, and I've seen Vegas from many, many different directions. And
I walked into Voodoo and I gasped. I couldn't believe how beautiful it was. The view from the top of that restaurant, and the seats 360, so you can walk around and see the view all the way around. And we sat right in the window, and you just can't, it's like eating dinner on the moon. It's so beautiful.
So
beautiful.
Oh.
So we went and we sat there and because I'm on the moon, right?
What is that? Why I'm on the? Oh, I'm on the moon.
Yeah. So we went.
I don't like when Wayne plays with my voice.
So we went to got the drink, the voodoo,
We did.
the witch doctor, which was we'll put a picture up on the episode thing, but it was
Me drinking the witch doctor.
It got dry ice. It's like a bathtub drink. It's like a giant tub with dry ice, and it's a red drink, and it's ridiculous. It's like $37, and we had 3 sips, but it looked awesome.
I told the waiter it was a centerpiece.
It was a centerpiece. That's what we got it for.
We
But
didn't
I,
really
but I had Kobe beef steak. You had
I had scallops. Yeah, very good.
when we had this we had the crab cake to start with. The only crab cake I've seen deep fried. Phenomenal.
Yeah, it was
really good. Steak was good. So good steakhouse, but it wasn't the problem with the steakhouse. It was it was my first time having this Wagyu Kobe beef type of thing, and almost double the price of the steak. Because I've always wanted to try it, but it wasn't double as good. So I actually regret not getting the ribeye or the fillet, the regular fillet, because I want to try it. It was done really thin. Again, really good. I wouldn't worth the price increase of any place. I might try it somewhere else as well. But steak was obviously I'd get it. I'd get any steak there. Food was amazing.
Yeah.
But I don't know if anyone can chime in and drop us a line about if you've had a Wagyu kind of Kobe beef steak that you said is worth the price, and I'd love to try it.
Service was really great
Phenomenal.
too. The waiter, the first thing he asked is if we had a show, which you always know a good waiter, I think, in Las Vegas, because they understand that there's a whole night that's going on
Awkward,
here. Like,
because the only show was Chippendales that night. But okay.
Well, Scott had someplace he had to be.
I had a set at 9.
It wasn't just. It's usually you go to dinner and then to a show, or you see a show and then you go to dinner. So I like when someone asks us if we're going somewhere else, so they can respect our time. I think that's very cool.
The nice thing about Voodoo Steakhouse is that at 9:00 you can go up to the club, the Voodoo Lounge, with no door charge, no cover charge or anything else,
upstairs.
no line. You just go up there, and after I believe it's 10 or so, I think it's 10 or 11. Women are $20 and men are $30 to get in.
Okay.
Plus a line, plus an elevator, and everything else. So you eat dinner, take your time, enjoy yourself, and just walk. There's just a grand staircase that goes up there, and the only people from the restaurant can go up
it was really nice.
into there.
It was
so
cool.
And then you go up to the club level, which is the next level up, and you walk outside. And literally, you're outside and seeing entire Vegas.
The view is amazing.
The view between that and Moon at Palms is like your two best views, pretty much, of the Strip, because you see it from the side, which is beautiful. Again, also Foundation Room's also real hard to beat on top of Mandalay, but those are amazing. Yeah. So. Great place, great restaurant. Certainly gets the 2 thumbs up from us. And we also had another place, a local place. We went for kind of a breakfast with again, friend of the podcast and great friend of ours, Manya. They went to Eggs and I, which is again a local breakfast place.
Yeah.
And
Manya asked us what kind of food we wanted. It's always dangerous. I love Manya, but you never know. Like, you tell her you want a kind of food, you're going there. So you have to make a decision.
You'll get it authentically, yeah.
You're getting whatever you ask for.
It's not like I'm looking for chicken
so
or this.
Be careful what you ask for, right?
We break it right down to culture.
Yeah, Manya's Yelp.
Areas of country.
Manya's really Yelp.
Yeah.
I think she runs it, actually.
I think Manya is Yelp.
Yeah.
And so you either consult Yelp or Manya.
There you go.
It's Manya S on Twitter. Say hi. And so we went to this Eggs and I place. I wanted just a basic kind of breakfast and eggs. And so, but here's the thing. Not only was it really good, it's one of those places, again, it's local, so it's not coming up in the guide when you get from the cab or anything. It's a local place, Eggs and I, again, west of the highway, west of the Rio, but again, real close from the Rio.
Yeah,
so it's even close to the Strip. You went there, it's quick, it's hearty, and apparently on the weekend at breakfast time, it's packed with a lineup. There's a reason why. Again, it's locals. It's just, it's like a down home kind of diner type of thing. But here's the thing. Between the 3 of us, that's a lot of different likes and dislikes and dietary needs of food, right? So it's like between gluten or not, or dairy or not, vegetarian or not. Me is I am meatitarian, right? So I cannot eat vegetables. It's part of my religion, so I don't eat that. So I had eggs Benedict, with regular bacon, not Canadian bacon, because nobody actually eats Canadian bacon in Canada.
No, it's a trick.
No, we invented Canadian. Here's a secret for you guys: that we invented Canadian bacon so Americans would stop eating our real bacon. And so I asked for real bacon and hash browns, killer. Manya had the
Huevos rancheros.
Yeah, that thing.
Yeah.
And you had.
I had soup actually. I was lunch.
I
didn't want breakfast.
But it was all good.
Yeah, it was really.
And they bring
really
you
good.
like any good diner, they bring you the entire carafe of coffee and they sit it
Yes.
on the table with 3 cups and you know how to pour.
Yeah.
And, you know what you want. Great price, amazing food, fast service.
I'd go back there and eat for sure. It's really great.
I will grab between that, but then we have bacchanal. So we can go highbrow, lowbrow, all good food across the board.
Yeah,
right.
it's really good.
All good food across the board. And this time I didn't overeat at bacchanal, which I usually do.
No, you
to prime
didn't.
buffets.
You were wise this time.
I almost got into a coma last time.
I think you were
did
in
that.
a coma last time. Woke up 2 days later.
That was weird. Yeah. So, but we loved it with those places, especially. We also went and saw Cirque Michael Jackson 1 again.
Which was fantastic.
Was a friend of Chris Ducker was on his podcast.
And I gave someone a high five. See,
Yeah.
I can
You
participate.
gave somebody in the show a high five.
I
Allison
did.
doesn't like to participate.
I
But
don't
we've gone
like
twice.
participating in shows. I just don't want to. I'm watching other
And here's the
people.
thing: we didn't get the tickets free. They didn't. Get,
we paid
we've
for
got
it.
Cirque tickets in the past, but this is the second time we've seen Michael Jackson 1, and it's the second time we paid full price.
Yeah.
We
And it
saw
was
one
fantastic.
First row the first time, second row the second time. It wasn't because I know anybody. I just went there and booked them really far ahead of time because I really want to see the show.
Yeah.
And that's the problem when you leave yourself. When you go to Vegas, spontaneous is great. It's wonderful. We both try to pride ourselves on being at whatever level we can be. But when you want to go see a really good show, you got to plan ahead. Unless you want to pay StubHub prices.
And sometimes they don't have shows, which is something we saw when we were in Vegas last time.
Yeah, it
we
was
wanted
dark.
to go see it, and it was dark. So if you really want to see something, and if you don't go, I mean, we go all the time. If
Yeah.
you don't go to Vegas all the time, and you really want to see a show, I don't think there's anything wrong with planning your trip around those kinds of things too.
And we try to do a little bit of both, right? We try to we'll do a show this night, and we'll leave everything else kind of up to it. But we know the trip before was we saw Bocelli.
Yeah.
Right, and then the trip after we'll do the Michael Jackson show and everything else we kind of plan because we did Voodoo last minute.
Yes.
We did Nobu last minute.
We did.
Neither of which probably is advisable, but we just lucked on it. Where I went we were walking around the Rio and I pulled up Open Table and check to see if they had reservations. And I just grabbed it and went. So that was why I've got Open Table and Yelp kind of running on the phone wherever we go. And the same thing with Nobu. We just showed up. And you're at the mercy of obviously the place, but we showed up at 6, and which is 3 p.m. in Vegas dinner time. So it was early, so we got a table. But if you're a little bit flexible, and you can do those type of things, and so we had Michael Jackson planned.
Yeah, but I think my sister and I are planning on going sometime in the spring. So there's a plan. So I actually sent her a show listings so she can see if there's anyone she's ever really wanted to see. Because we've seen some shows at MGM and they've been so great, and Mandalay and been great. And it's a good place to see a show and you're on a trip. And
concert,
so
yeah.
so she's kind of looking ahead to see if any particular performer she likes is coming. We'll plan it around that.
Because
so
everybody
she can
stops in
go.
Vegas. Right? Everybody stops in Vegas. So, which was Bocelli. I bought the Bocelli tickets 6 months out.
Yeah.
And we booked it. And literally, remember, I had 2 conference keynotes in Florida. So we did Orlando, flew to Vegas, and flew back to Miami.
Yeah,
It was
not
just
advisable.
No. Don't,
But it worked out really well
do
for
that.
us.
But we did. And it worked.
It was
and Bocelli
wonderful.
was
Amazing.
again, a life.
See him.
A life.
Yeah, see him.
Check that off my list
It was
from the
beautiful.
bucket list. And but amazingly enough, the contrast between that and we saw Pink in concert in Toronto right before that. Nobody's holding phones in the air at Bocelli. Nobody's recording it. Nobody's holding phones up. They're enjoying.
We really
and
enjoyed
they're
it.
listening.
It was beautiful.
Yeah. And it was phenomenal. So if you ever, but that's where he stops, right? He'll
But
stop in
Vegas has a good mix, though. I think it has a good mix of you just feel like doing something.
But that's what people will always come. So you have house shows that'll stay.
Yeah.
And that can be performances. That can be Celine. That can be Elton John has a run.
Yeah, and we're
Bruno
talking about
Mars
Elton
has
John,
a
right?
Cosmo
Yeah.
run. We were
Which we
trying
would
to go
like to
see.
see.
Then you have the staple shows and Cirque and Penn and Teller and those type of things, La Rev and all that stuff. And then you have the touring acts that come in. But sometimes there's a residency. Motley Crue does a couple weeks of residency for Hard Rock. Def Leppard did that as well. But then you have shows like we alone between us and then myself as well going into concerts in Vegas. I've seen more in the past 2 years than I've seen in 20.
Yeah.
So I've seen Van Halen, Motley Crue, Kiss. We saw Madonna, Bon Jovi, New Kids on the Block, Backstreet Boys. One of the best shows I've ever seen, by the way. No exaggeration or sarcasm at all. Phenomenal. Bocelli. And that's just the 6th scene in the past 2 years there. And it's awesome. And I just forgot what live music was like.
Yeah.
And it was a great place to do that. But when we were there 2 trips ago, Michael Jackson 1 was dark.
Yeah.
Jabberwockies was dark.
Yeah.
There's 3 big shows that were out for 2 weeks, and I wrote my Andy, our buddy at Cirque. I'm like, dude, dark. Want to see it? He's like, the performers have to get a break sometime.
Yeah.
Like it's just you don't want to see a show of all understudies. Like
No.
you need a break. So
So
always
plan
check
ahead
too.
if it's really important to you and see who's going to be there, and then leave yourself some room to be able to do the kinds of things you just walk by and you see something too.
some time.
Yeah.
Right, and some time. And speaking of time, we actually did CES this time because our flight was canceled. So we had an extra day, and we went out and begged on Twitter and Facebook, and our friends from Smashing Pixels in Brantford, Ontario, hooked us up with their client, who is Everick International, who got us passes under there because they had a booth. And we got to see the Consumer Electronics Show, which I want to see my entire adult life, to go see this thing, because this is where they launched the 90-inch and 100-inch TVs and the crazy screens. And now this year is curved screens and 4K and all this stuff. And we got to go. And we also got to learn what it's like to walk the South and North Convention Center and the Hilton, which is a lot of miles.
And we're funny now because we can't take our eyes off like the marketing stuff. So like the side of the Renaissance is painted.
T-Mobile painted the entire hotel.
And we walk up and usually it's like, wow, look at the conference, look at the cool stuff. And Scott and I are like, look at the sign that they painted there. Like they painted
How much did they
wall.
pay for that hot air balloon in the air?
Oh,
You
my
can't turn
goodness.
the marketing, but we
No,
do have to
no
give
wonder. All
for
marketing.
giving me a bucket listing. We have to give a shout out to Everick, who makes the
thank
Mio.
you so much.
The Mio, the Lifesaver emergency battery pack, and they may also make the Mio Lifesaver 2.
Which is a great thing to have when you're traveling, to have that extra battery life, because we've all been stranded somewhere and
The smaller one that fits in
Power
your
goes
pocket powers phones and iPods, and the bigger one will power phones, iPods, and tablets as well.
so it's a great thing to have. They didn't ask us to share their
Nope,
product,
didn't
but
tell
we were.
us. It was no condition to give
No.
them the pass, except they knew we were fairly influential and silly websites. So we're going to give this one away, by the way, as well.
Yep.
So the Pink Mio Lifesaver emergency battery pack. If you want it, leave us a tweet, leave us a message, and say, "Give me back my power," whatever you want. And we'll send one out to you as a thank you. We didn't tell them we were going to give them away.
No.
We didn't do that. But we would do it. They hooked us up, and they didn't have to. But we walked the show, and it was also cool. But again, then you realize when you're in conference mode, and we've been to some shows. We've been to big shows. We've spoken at some of the shows or events. But this is one of the biggest of the year. It's 140,000 people.
It was amazing to see.
But that's the line for the shuttles back to the hotels was amazing, and why you stay on the monorail line and why you
Absolutely,
go on the west. But there's your advantage of it when you're conferencing, especially if you're doing. If I did CES, we did it again. We had to drive, and it took us a long time to get there because of all the traffic. We had to park at a
Very
shady, sketchy
Yeah,
apartment
we're not
building.
sure it was actually a parking lot. There were guys there when we got there. They weren't there when
It's
we got back.
amazing when somebody buys a $6 fluorescent vest, they can look official and take you $20. Like I don't know if we were legally parked or not, but the rental was still there when we got back.
Yeah.
But just if you stayed on the east side of the strip there, MGM going up, but the ones that are on the real stops, not close to it, but like MGM, something like that, when you hop on that monorail, it'll be obviously busy, but you go up and down, you don't have to deal with any of those crowds and those lines.
Yeah.
So we've said this on the event, the conference episode, but there's something to be said for being on that east end of the strip on that monorail if your event's at the convention center.
Yeah, we really appreciated it too, especially after walking the entire show. Basically, how much that extra walk would have really done you in.
We were lucky to grab a little shuttle van from the Vegas Hilton back to the south end of the convention center just at the end of the day.
we were tired. We were done.
We were done. And we took 2 rest breaks.
We did.
I'm 38 years old. I needed 2 rest breaks. I'm also greatly out of shape. So one was lying in the middle of the floor on the trade show floor.
It was Tech Park.
At the time, there was like 50 people all sitting on carpets
When we
eating.
sat down.
By the time we got back up, laying sprawled on the carpet, we were the only ones there in the middle of the carpet. So it looks kind of odd.
Was a Scott Stratten exhibit?
Yeah, it was a Scott booth. We were briefcasing it, suitcasing it, which
We
means
had
we didn't
fun.
pay.
It was very cool. It was very cool to see all the people and fantastic to see all the new tech. And we saw some people from the hotels. There was MGM. Remember, we saw people walking because when we were resting, what do you do when you're resting at a conference? You stare at people's badges.
right.
And so
Caesars.
we saw it was Caesars. Yeah, some people from Caesars Entertainment walking around and looking at things and started talking about whether they'd be there buying TVs for the hotel and all kinds of stuff. So it was very cool. It was neat to see.
I liked it. I would like to. So this is we call this officially the trip report. So this is your December trip report, and when we have a future episode, we'll get it then. And when will we record the next one? Whenever we feel like it. This is Vegas 30 for Adam, for Wayne, for Allison, for myself, and even for Jacob listening behind the glass. We thank you so much, and remember, what happens in Vegas goes on the podcast.
Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes and visit thevegas30.com. And remember, what happens in Vegas goes on the podcast.